I hope you've got a double-double in one hand and a butter tart in the other. Because what I'm about to tell you will knock your toque clean off. We are talking about the scandal of the century, right here on Canadian soil. So buckle up and hang on tight because this story is going to shake the entire country. This is not a drill. The Governor General herself, yes, Mary Simon, in coordination with the RCMP, has just ordered a full-scale no-holds-barred investigation. And you won't believe who is at the center of this explosive new inquiry. None other than Prime Minister Mark Carney. That's right, after weeks of mounting tension and public outcry, a missing ballot box has been found. And not just anywhere, folks, but on one of Carney's very own properties. You seriously couldn't make this up if you tried. The arrogance, the entitlement, the utter contempt for democracy. It's staggering. This is political dynamite, plain and simple. Now, picture this. A quiet morning in Ottawa. The snow just starting to melt. The Rideau Canal slowly coming back to life. Birds chirping. The city waking up. And then bam, RCMP officers descend on a property linked to none other than Mark Carney himself. And what do they find? A ballot box. But not just any ballot box, one of the very same missing boxes that's had Canadians from coast to coast to coast fuming for weeks. That's right, the ballots that mysteriously vanished during this razor-thin, controversial election. The very election that allowed Mark Carney to scrape by with a majority so thin, you could read the Globe and Mail through it. And now the jig is up. The cover-up is blown wide open. And let me just say this, credit where credit is due. Governor General Mary Simon has shown real integrity and backbone here. One look at the facts. A few critical conversations with senior RCMP officers, and she said, enough is enough. She invoked her powers as the Queen's representative and ordered an official inquiry. And thank heavens for that because public trust in this government is hanging by a thread, thinner than a Tim Hortons napkin. But let's back it up for a second. You and I both know this scandal has been simmering for weeks. Across Canada, regular, hardworking folks, farmers, truckers, small business owners have been watching in disbelief as Elections Canada fumbled excuse after excuse. Administrative errors. They said, isolated mishaps, they claimed. Really? Tell that to the families in Saskatoon, whose votes were never counted. Or the veterans in Nova Scotia whose ballots simply vanished. And now we know where at least some of them went. Straight to property connected to the sitting Prime Minister. It's like a real-life episode of House of Cards, only colder and with more polite accents. And where has Mark Carney been through all of this? Silent. Not a national address. Not an emergency press conference. Just the occasional smug smirk when cornered by reporters. For a man who built his entire brand on stability and the guardianship of democracy, he sure hasn't been guarding much lately, except maybe his own backside. Let's not forget, this is the same man who pranced around Davos, lecturing the world on democratic values, while the very foundation of democracy here at home is crumbling beneath his feet. The hypocrisy would be laughable if it weren't so dangerous. Before we continue, can I ask a quick favor? If you appreciate this kind of content, if you want the truth to keep getting out, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it helps us keep doing this important work. Did you click it? Great, thank you so much. Now back to this bombshell story. Enter Pierre. Oh, what? A day for Pierre, the man of the hour, the voice of reason in this circus of corruption. He called it weeks ago. There would be no faith in this election without full accountability. And now, he's been proven 100% right. While Carney's Liberals were busy gaslighting Canadians and dismissing legitimate concerns as conspiracy theories, Pierre stood tall. He demanded transparency and rallied the nation behind him. And Canadians are responding. Oh boy, are they responding? The hashtags #BallotGate and #CarneyCoverup are lighting up social media faster than a prairie wildfire. But here's the really chilling part. If one ballot box was found on Carney's property, how many more are still out there? How deep does this rabbit hole go? What else have they been hiding? You know what they say, if you find one mouse in the kitchen, there's always more behind the walls. And Canadians are rightly furious. Town halls from British Columbia to Newfoundland are packed with citizens demanding answers. Even lifelong Liberal voters are turning on this government faster than a snowplow in January. And let me tell you, the RCMP aren't taking this lightly. Sources tell us their investigation is expanding rapidly. Warrants have already been issued for multiple Liberal insiders. One insider even whispered that senior Elections Canada officials may soon be dragged in for questioning. And you better believe Pierre Poilievre is watching every move, like a hawk. Meanwhile, what's Carney doing? Apparently pacing the halls of Rideau Cottage in a full-on meltdown. One insider described him as visibly shaken, ranting about sabotage and betrayal. But let's be serious. Mark, you're the Prime Minister. You're supposed to lead, not hide behind palace walls and point fingers. The fact that the Governor General had to step in and do what you refused to do, that says it all. This isn't some minor gaffe. This is a full-blown, historic scandal. If votes can disappear, if ballot boxes can end up stashed on the property of the sitting PM, then how can any Canadian trust the system? This isn't just about this election, this is about the very future of democracy in Canada, and the fact that Carney still won't face the nation. Pierre Poilievre said it best: when a leader refuses to lead in a crisis, the people will rise. And rise, they have. Rallies are being planned in major cities. Legal scholars are openly questioning whether this government can continue. Calls for a snap election are growing louder by the hour. With the Governor General now fully engaged, God bless her, we may be closer than ever to the day Canadians can finally send this sorry excuse for a government packing. Mark Carney thought he could rule from on high, shielded by elite connections and media spin. But now, the truth is out. The mask has slipped. Canadians aren't buying the lies anymore. They want answers. They want accountability. And with Pierre Poilievre leading the charge, and the RCMP hot on the case, it looks like they're going to get it. So, friends, if you're watching this right now, don't sit on the sidelines. Stay loud. Stay engaged. Share this story with everyone you know. Because this fight isn't about one missing ballot box. It's about defending our democracy for the next generation of Canadians. And let me tell you, if Mark Carney thinks he can squirm his way out of this, he's got another thing coming. The tide is turning. The people are waking up. History is being written before our very eyes. And I think Canadians will remember this moment for decades. Not just for the scandal, but for the courage of leaders like Governor General Mary Simon and Pierre Poilievre, who stood tall when it mattered most. When others hid, they acted. And for that, they deserve the respect of every Canadian, from sea to shining sea. So buckle up, folks. The days ahead are going to be wild. And as for Mark Carney, he might want to start practicing his resignation speech because the writing is well and truly on the wall. That's it for today, my friends. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me in the comments, do you think it's time for Carney to step down? Because this Canadian sure does. See you in the next one. Stay tuned, this story is far from over.